Diving into the source books of Vampire the Masquerade tends to reveal interesting little tidbits of lore. My personal favorite always being the bloodlines, small families of vampires that don't really fit into any of the big 13 clans. Demon worshippers, gargoyles, and actual literal time travelers are just some examples of the strange breeds you find when you delve beyond the safety net of the core rulebook. Today I want to discuss, quite possibly my favorite bloodline, warriors of divine beauty turned ferocious and free-spirited shamans. These are the Ahrimanes. Our story begins with Adisa, the daughter of Freya, goddess of fertility, love, women, and war and destruction. Adisa was a powerful warrior whose prowess in battle attracted the attention of a Persian king named Ahriman. Ahriman attempted to recruit Adisa into his army, and when she refused, Ahriman threw a hissy fit and sent his entire army after her in an attempt to beat her into submission. Despite being the daughter of a literal war goddess, Adisa was still just one woman and was no match for an entire army. She fought valiantly, but was eventually slain. When Freya showed up to deliver Adisa to the afterlife, she refused, telling her mother that she would be unable to pass on until she had her revenge on Ahriman and his forces for assuming he was entitled to the loyalty of a freaking demigod simply because she was a woman. On the first night of Adisa's resurrection, she used her ability to communicate with animals to track Ahriman and his followers as they were fleeing from the battlefield. On the second night, in an attempt to throw Adisa off the trail, Ahriman had all of the local fauna slaughtered. But Adisa, now being half dead, simply communicated with the ghosts of those animals and continued her pursuit of the king. And on the third night, Adisa arrived at Ahriman's castle, only to find all entrances and windows blocked off. Enraged at the king's cowardice, Adisa used her bare hands to tear the castle apart, brick by brick. Before she killed Ahriman, she stole his name, meaning that he would be cursed to wander aimlessly in the afterlife. Even with her revenge, however, Adisa still wasn't ready to move on. She knew that so many other women were being victimized by powerful men throughout the world, and wanted to remain on Earth to stand up for them. Thus, she and a number of warrior women banded together under the banner of the Ahrimanes. The Ahrimanes, or the Valkyries as they were known, didn't have a very strict organization or set of rules, mostly just being a group of women who banded together for the sake of strength in numbers. Each Valkyrie was taught a simple runic language, known only to others of her kind. It was mostly used just to indicate safe feeding grounds, the presence of hostile canites, things of that nature. They generally live a very nomadic lifestyle, making temporary havens in caves, trees, and abandoned sections of city should they be forced into an urban environment. When it comes to feeding, in general, anyone is fair prey, except for pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and children, out of respect for the fertility goddess they descend from. One last detail that I personally appreciate, the rulebooks do clarify that the Ahrimanes, an all-female clan, do accept transgender women into their ranks, and in general, treat them with the same level of respect as the cis members of the clan. As a trans woman myself, I really appreciate White Wolf going out of their way to be inclusive. Unfortunately, sometime around the end of the Dark Ages, the Ahrimanes were absorbed by Clan Gangrel and disappeared for over 700 years. A proud and determined warrior clan, gone in an instant. Until the arrival of Mercia. Mercia was a Gangrel anti-tribu when the clan was being divided into two warring factions among the Sabbat. Disheartened and upset at the fact that her packmates were being forced to kill each other over a war they really didn't have any stock in, she began to study the native shamans in the newly discovered Americas and, through the use of blood sorcery, was able to reawaken the dormant blood of the ancient Ahrimanes bloodline. and sever her blood ties to the rest of her clan. Unfortunately, she soon discovered that, because of the ritual, she was now unable to form blood bonds, create ghouls, or embrace other vampires. She was, however, able to use the ritual on her fellow gangrel, and thus, the Valkyries were reborn as the Cats. The modern Ahrimanes were even smaller than their Dark Age progenitors, largely due to their inability to embrace directly. The upside of this was that the Ahrimanes were all incredibly tight-knit, so messing with one of them would quickly have her packmates descend upon you. These Ahrimanes were once again an all-female bloodline, this time with a particular focus on Black and Native American women. Due to the nature of their quote-unquote embrace, all Ahrimanes were personally created by Marissa. Marissa never really attempted to directly control her childer, but she did keep tabs on them regularly and help them hone their unique discipline. Speaking of which, let's discuss that special discipline. In the Dark Ages and the Modern Knights, along with animalism and potence, talking to animals and super strength for the uninitiated, the Ahrimanes possessed the special discipline of spiritus. Spiritus allowed communication with, well, spirits. Mostly animal spirits, but any kind of spirit could generally be contacted with this power. Vampires may use spiritus to speak with spirits directly, such as with the level 1 and level 2 powers, or more indirectly tap into their power, such as with Aspect of the Predator that allows them to temporarily adopt traits from the local fauna, or Angling Fury that allows the vampires to destroy a minor spirit to regain willpower. The highest spiritus power, Wild Beast, allows the Ahrimanes to take on a form similar to the war form of the werewolves, albeit more slim and feline. They gain amazing strength and health, and the mere sight of them drives mortals mad. While still technically aligned with the Sabbat, the Ahrimanes were very detached from the sect at large, preferring the company of their own kind. So, it actually took a while for anyone to notice that, in the 1990s, the Ahrimanes simply disappeared. Those who investigated their havens found them simply deserted. Most canines think they were destroyed, though the possibility remains that Marissa, being a spiritual woman, led them on some sort of pilgrimage. Either way, no one knew where they were, and just as soon as they arrived, the Ahrimanes had vanished once again. And that is the story of the Ahrimanes. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I've been really interested in this bloodline for a while, and I'm really glad I finally got to talk about them. If you like this video, don't forget there is a button for that, and please be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. If you want to support me monetarily, you can get some really interesting rewards on my Patreon, or you can support me in a one-off fashion on my Ko-fi. But of course, none of that is necessary. Liking, sharing, and subscribing are all just as good ways to support me. As always, my name is Lily, and I will see you lovely people later.